Well, good afternoon, everybody. Well, after several attempts on how to start these videos, I'm still learning. There's a couple on the table here that I will post maybe one of these days. But I'm trying to give a feel of how you will receive these videos and what you need to know so you can follow up and knowing what I'm talking about each time I present a new idea, new concept, a story. And I guess you got to start from the beginning. Like I started with talking about process of doing a reading. So I'm going to capture that again. I was born with this condition. I'm an energy reader, and I blend with people to enter time. Time is that when people take readings from me, they'll say, "Oh, I can feel you." Those who are intuitive themselves will feel me around their shoulders and around their neck. And I, over time, have realized that the entrance to time is at the base of your neck. The energy doesn't stay. My energy doesn't just stay in one spot; it can travel over the body. I sometimes will pick up those areas on the body that need some attention. Say you got stomach ache or you have a injured shoulder. If my mind makes me want to go to your thought process, I then can go and step into the brain or step into your anxiety level or your comfort level or whatever emotions driven you that day. And I can address those things with you also. So people will say to me, "What do you think my child should get into it when they're an adult?" And I'll step into the child. I'll not necessarily go into time first. I'll go into the mind and I will sense the way the mind is wired. There's such a thing as rules and regulations. There's soft, cuddly ones. There's always the teacher vibration. There's so many different categories that I can approach. Those who like jigsaw puzzles or like intricate little things with their hands, totally different career choice. Those who have a short attention span, those who have time for people, different. So same with time. When I enter somebody and I've talked about other things and they say, okay, future events, future things, time is at the base of your throat. I, I enter there, I fall about this far. It feels like it. It's slippery like glass. People say, well, that's kind of odd. I mean, listen, if I knew how to give this to you, I'd sell it to you for a nickel. But after 30 years and how many readings, tens of thousands, I have felt that. And same with body parts. I can enter a body part and I can feel it. I helped somebody with indigestion. I just reached in and grabbed her stomach and gave it a good squeeze. Anyway, getting on with my story. My perception of what it feels like to enter the core of who you are, to enter time, gives me the feeling of entering your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. You're entering your own time. If someone wants to meditate, relax, access their own time, they do it with their breath. Breathe in, breathe out, enter time. When you enter time, there's two things I want to address here. How fast can an intuitive like myself travel your time? And what time, that perception of what it looks like to me. We live on a planet every day, every day, every day, going around the sun. So we have a perception of time being a straight line. In reality, it flows like this. In addition to waving, it feels like it cycles around. So that at any one time, I can, in the center, reach out and touch any place in your life. If I were in your time now and you wanted me to talk about your mother when she was a child, I would go to your mother's time. At what place do I enter your mother's time? How would I know? So it almost feels like a big bubble around me of, envision a bubble. The beginning of the bubble is here. And we circle it and it goes around, full of life is in the center. We wind down, and at the end of our life, it comes back to the circle. If I'm inside your time, I can access that bubble anywhere in there to find out what you want to know. Now, the important thing is that there's only so many places that you would want me to go. I can't arbitrarily just go anywhere. So important actions, words, important dates, those things stand out in your time. So you say, I want to go to my senior prom. Oh, I can find that. it's in your time because you got dressed up and you went. Screen just disappeared, so give me a time to get some light back on us. Oh, there you go. Got a little darker. That was me. So accessing those points is based on what you will give me. So these young ladies talked to me several months back, and I said, yes, you're going to have an event come up. But I had mentioned this event 5 years ago. So when it came forth that was presented to them, they say, how did you know? I says, well, I'm reading your time, and this event coming up was a big bubble on your timeline. So I just went and looked at it, and I could tell you what it is. Can't tell you details because I just talked to the girls today. So it has to be something that's important. Okay, does that... Let me think that through. Was that too hard? So we access time. I access the time on the bubble of your life. If you're a young person, it's at the beginning of the bubble. If it's in the middle, it's the end, whatever. But while I'm inside, every day it flows around you. I can reach and I can go to any place in that bubble of your time. Unused time is tight. So envision the bubble of the circle. And as you use that life, that's easier to access than the lines of the future within that bubble. Unused time is tougher to get into. It's like a rope. So it's a little harder, and you'll see people like me work a little harder. It takes a lot more of my life force. We don't do this without giving of ourselves. So those of you who have seen me in large groups, entertain a lot of people, from 50 to 250, from the cemetery tours to the big conventions in downtown Sacramento. If I read 20, 30 people, that's exhausting. I can't talk for 2 or 3 days afterward. So it is tiring. I leave a piece of me everywhere I go. Not bad, just energy. People will have a reading by me and go, oh, I feel so much better. Well, you carried a little bit with me for the next few days. So that's really important for you to understand. So as we talk about things that will come up in short videos like this, for you to understand how I do this is really important. Do I take notes? Yes. I need your name. So some people need a birth date. Some want, whatever. I use a name people are called, whether they're living or passed away. We're going to talk about number of years if it's a passed away person. Sometimes a little note on what kind of work someone does helps me narrow it down to the correct person. I draw a little stick map on my paper here so that I don't forget who we're talking about. Nothing wrong with that. It just helps me focus. Those people who use tarot cards, numerology, astrology, I don't know about astrology, but those others, do they have all the information? If you only rely on that, you might always be wrong. If you rely on that as a means of getting a trigger question, absolutely. If you're intuitive, you're going to go to the source of the information and pull it back and give it to the client. Okay, so I want to make these really short. I'm going to stop this now and go on to the next one, and I'll further explain during readings.